Everyone, great to be here today. Oh, there we go. That's the recording. Yeah, so hey everyone, it's absolutely great to be here today, and another massive thanks to you, Claire. It is a privilege to be here and to talk to you amazing people. So like she said, I only have about 30 minutes. I want to make sure I hit on absolutely everything for you guys today. And what I'm going to be covering is basically how to use social media to your advantage, how to position yourself on social media, and also how to generate leads on social media. So it's all very exciting stuff. And before I jump into it, you're probably wondering, who on earth are you and why should we trust you and take your stuff into consideration? And that would be a great question. So I own a social media marketing agency and a software company called Scale Solutions Limited. I've also been noticed and published by the US Times and been mentored by a White House entrepreneur, Jason Capital, international speaker and best-selling author. So rest assured, we do know what we're talking about, and we've tested this time and time again. And so without wasting any more time, I'm going to dive straight into it. So I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. Let me know if you could see it, if I can find the right one. There we go.
That's
so
sharing.
Can you guys,
yeah,
can you see? Perfect, perfect. Sorry, let me just move these massive boxes out of the way. There we go. So step one is your perfect lead magnet. And before I dive into how to actually generate leads using social media, what I want to briefly go over is your profile. So this is probably as important, if not more important, than actually generating leads using social media. And if you have this down correctly and you've positioned yourself correctly, I promise you, we've tested this time and time again, and it will honestly blow you away. It works like absolute magic. And if you have it set correctly, it will work charms for you. And I'll show you exactly how to do that in just a second. So your positioning is super important. And just to give you a quick statistic, on average, it takes someone 5 seconds to go onto your profile before opting out. And if you're not very clear and you don't have a very powerful profile, they'll normally opt out, even if you've interacted with them and they checked out your profile. They'll automatically assume, it's a psychological thing that we've tested out, but they'll assume that there's someone else better if you're not positioned correctly using your social media. And so diving into how to actually position yourself on social media. And this is a very common question. And again, this is something that we've tested time and time again. And it's mainly 3 things. And there's 3 things. There's a lot more that goes into it, but obviously I don't have enough time to go into the whole Facebook breakdown as to how to position each section of your profile. But I do have a blueprint that I'm going to provide to you guys at the end, completely for free, as a thank you for having me on. And also for you guys to use for yourselves and have that as your competitive advantage. And so it all starts with the structure. And it's something called a credibility statement. You want to have your most powerful credibility statement at the beginning of your profile, because as I said, people's attention spans are like, it's awful these days, especially with like the dopamine releases and social media. And you want to make sure that when they land on your profile, they know exactly who you are. You're appearing super credible to them, that you have a direct call to action and a clear description of how you could help them. Now, a lot of people, they'll overcomplicate this. They'll try and make it look all fancy. And one thing we have in marketing as a saying is that confused minds do not buy. So if your description is confusing, even in the slightest, with all my copywriting personally, I use something called an FK score. And what an FK score is, it sounds so bizarre, but it's a way of dumbing down your words, because the more simple you could present your description, the better it is, and the more attached they'll be to your profile. And so a quick example for this is 350 5-star Zillow ratings from satisfied students. Now, it's very important to have a niche, a specific niche. And the reason I chose students is because you're speaking directly to that audience. So when a student, so say I was a student and I landed on the profile, and I looked at this, I'll be like, okay, 350 5-star Zillow ratings from satisfied students. This sounds amazing. I'm actually looking for a property, and I can see that this guy has huge credibility on Zillow. And so they'll check this out, and they'll be like, oh great, he's got the credibility. Now the next thing you want to have is a simple and clear description of exactly how you could help. So you're providing Brighton students with hassle-free accommodations. Now, straight away, if I live in Brighton and I can see from the get-go that he is focused in the area of Brighton and it's hassle-free, that's a no-brainer. The next thing I'm thinking is, okay, so how do I get started? How do I book? How do I do this? And this is the third part of your description, and it's where you have your call to action or your offer. So your call to action, if you have a funnel, if you don't have a funnel, your call to action would be something like this. So DM me for our exclusive holiday offer. So DM just stands for direct message me for my exclusive holiday offer. So rather than them opting out of your profile and clicking on other places to try and find you, simply by them DMing you, straight away they get the advantage of claiming an exclusive offer and the easiness of just messaging you directly. If you do have a funnel, and this is something like, it's another topic. I can go into how powerful a funnel is, but it will take me about 2 hours to describe exactly how to set up a funnel and use it and stuff. So I'm just going to give you guys the framework so you guys can go out and use it straight away. So you just want to type in something like visit the link below for exclusive holiday offer, and it takes them through a funnel, a high converting funnel, so that they'll be taken through a process to book in a call with you. Okay, so that is how to simply set up your bio. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it, which will be explained more deeply in the blueprint that I give you.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Of course. Go for it.
Like where? I mean, my Facebook page is my
okay. So
page.
Good question. So this is done
it starts with Bryn Walker, you know, my kids, blah 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 blah. So yeah, where is this?
That's a great question. So on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, it's going to be. Hold up, let me just pull it up on my phone and just show you real quick. It's better showing you. So if you can see my phone, it's the very first thing that shows up on your profile. It's your description, right underneath your name. And this is going to be the same on, it's going to be the same on Instagram, and it's going to be the same on LinkedIn. It's going to be the first section. It's going to be your bio, your description. It's going to be that section that comes up right underneath your name. And that's the part that you want to modify. That's the part that you want to modify to look like this, because that's the first thing people see when they land on your profile. And if it's very clear, you've immediately got their attention. You basically want to turn your profile into a funnel. You want to turn your profile into like this machine that once you reach out to people and they see your profile, they know, like, and trust you. They know that you have that credibility, you've got those reviews, they know where to go to message you, and it's very clear and easy for them to go through that process. If your process is complicated in any sort of way, we've tested this so many times and it just does not convert. They'll end up opting out and looking for someone else, purely because people are just really lazy these days and they're not going to take the time to go through your profile in detail. So it's super important that you have this structured in that way. And so, yeah, that's just like your bio description. And again, through my blueprint, you can look at it and you can literally just copy and paste like everything on that blueprint as a thank you to you guys. So moving on, funnels that convert. So again, I'm not going to go too deep into a funnel because this is a whole nother topic of its own. But this is a framework and a blueprint that you could use anywhere, right? And it works time and time again, and it works flawlessly. So the first thing is your lead magnet, and then you want to have your headline, and then you want to have your featured testimonials. Now, testimonials, again, in marketing, we have this term that says proof is your God, right? The more proof you have, the less you have to sell. And by proof, I mean reviews. I mean, the first thing people see is your reviews, your 5-star reviews on Zillow, your 5-star reviews on Google. You want them to see your reviews because immediately when they see your reviews, you could sell less. And it's the same concept. When I go on Amazon or when I go on anything, when I come to buy a product, the first thing I look at is reviews before I even look at the descriptions or anything like that. If the reviews are bad, I'm not going to buy it. If they're amazing, I'm all in. right? So first thing you look at is the review. So it is so important that you have this on top and not the bottom, right? Because if you have it on the bottom and they're scrolling through it, they're gonna miss the reviews. They're gonna be like, okay, they've got no testimonials, they've not got any reviews, and so you're gonna have to try and sell harder. But more reviews means that you don't need to sell as hard. So that's a really key point. And then you want to have your 3 benefits and quickly introduce yourself. And then again, your final call to action. So your call to action is going to be very similar to the one on your Facebook profile, where it could be anything like DM me for offer, DM me for, or book a call for the offer, or whatever it might be. So it's just your call to action. It's where you want them to go. Okay, so moving on from that, I'm going to go past this bit real quick because I don't have enough time to go over the emails. But generating leads organically, and this is probably what you've all been waiting for. And the reason I had to go over the profile first is because this will not work anywhere near as well if your profile isn't set to convert. If your profile is not set in a way of a funnel, it's not going to convert, and they're going to look at your profile and they're going to opt out, or they're going to go somewhere else. So it's super important that you get that first thing done. And once you have that done, you're just going to have like these power players, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as your machines to generate these leads. And so let's dive straight in. So Zuckerberg did us a huge favor. And if those of you that don't know Zuckerberg, he's basically the owner, founder, he's the one that created Facebook. And starting in 2019, Facebook started aggressively promoting groups where like-minded people can interact in small communities. For us business owners, this has made finding our dream customers easier than ever before. And there are groups in every niche, topic, and interest imaginable. This is so powerful, and no one in the real estate space is utilizing this correctly. And those that are haven't got an optimized profile. So just by using groups, and I'll show you how to use this in just a second, you can get into this untapped market that no one is using, and you can start generating leads on demand organically, right? And moving on, this is how to use groups. So for example, you search up the group on the top left on the search engine. After you search it up, you just want to click on that little groups icon, and you're going to have a bunch of these groups. And this is what it looks like in the real estate space. So imagine how powerful this is. So for example, I just typed in uni students in Worthing, but let's say, for example, you're covering the Bournemouth area. This is student accommodation in Bournemouth. And look at the quantity of people in that group. There are 3.5 thousand members in that group. So simply by just getting into these groups around your area, these are people actively looking for accommodations, right? And if you're in these groups and you're promoting these offers, and then these people see your offer and your posts, and they click onto your website or your profile, sorry, they're going to see that credibility immediately. They're going to message you for the DM. And there's a little hack to this as well. So I don't want to see any of you doing this yourself, right? This is like the biggest mistake, because people in real estate, they have very little time. So to do all of this and to keep posting in groups and all of this type of stuff takes so much time, right? And a lot of you want to focus on other areas of your business. And so a reason to choose Facebook in particular is because there are 1.3 billion people on Messenger. So this is insane. Like, your audience is there. All your dream audience is there. You just need to find them. And groups is like your power player. This is one of the tools that you could use to start generating leads organically. And what I would recommend for you guys is to hire a virtual assistant. Now, people might get scared like at the thought of a virtual assistant and be like, oh my God, virtual assistant, it's going to cost me so much money. You'll be very surprised. So there's a website which I could send to you guys, and it's basically a website in the Philippines, right? And what this will do is that you could get a virtual assistant working full time on your social media, 8 hours a day for under $3 an hour, right? So that works out approximately about £250 a month, and they're taking care of all of your social media. They are posting on groups, they are replying to comments, they're replying to DMs, they are boosting your engagement on social media, and it will cost you less than $3 an hour, right? This is insane. Like, when I first found out about this, I gave, like, it was a nice difference to my real estate clients when I when I introduced them to a virtual assistant, and they were able to take care of all that nitty-gritty stuff for them so that they didn't have to go through that. And it was simply a matter of them teaching them the same process that I'm teaching you, even showing them the same blueprint that I'm going to show you, and they will go through it step by step. These people are geniuses, and to them, $3 is an amazing wage in the Philippines. So to you, offering them $3 an hour is like amazing to them, and they're happy to do that all day long and work 8 hours a day. So this is such a power player, and if you were to utilize this correctly, I promise you, like without a question of a doubt, you will be so surprised at the results that you get. That 250 will generate you thousands just by hiring an assistant to do it for you. And it's a lot easier than you might think.
Which company do you use then in the Philippines?
So I will link down, I'll show you a link of the exact website to go to get one from the Philippines, and it's the best one. It's ph.philippines or something. I need to look up the website, but I'll send it to you guys. And you guys could obviously look at it, choose whoever, you could interview them, and then you can go through that process. It doesn't take long at all.
Is that specific for social media? Sorry, just to ask, is that, or is that?
So it could be anything. It could be, so say you wanted them to take care of any other need. You could literally tell that same assistant to get off social media and focus on something else. If you wanted to build an email list, you can go out for you, find an email list of people in your niche who will build up a massive database for you, or she, and you can take it from there using that virtual assistant. So you could get them to carry out any tasks, calls. So you want them to call people, you want them to follow up with people, you want them to do anything. Your current clients, you want new clients, your virtual assistant will do it all. And everyone is like very scared of virtual assistant. When people say, okay, I'm going to need to pay like $2.5 grand a month for a virtual assistant to sort out all of these tasks for me, it's so much cheaper than that. And it is like, I promise you, if there's one thing you take away from this whole thing, getting a virtual assistant will blow out the water for you. And so that's the virtual assistant part. So let's just move on. And now there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also a super powerful platform.
So sorry. Are you going to put a link somewhere? Did you
say? Yeah. So at the end of the call, what I'll do is I'll get you guys to drop, whoever's interested, you could drop their emails down in the chat. And what I'll do is, so I'll email you the link and the blueprint, so you guys have like everything you need to get going straight away. And so LinkedIn is a super powerful platform. LinkedIn is a more direct platform. So you've got to understand these platforms and how people operate in these platforms. And the best way to take advantage of this is by utilizing software and automation. So with LinkedIn, rather than you reaching out to people and connecting with people manually, you could automatically get this done using a software. And this software, I think they have a free trial. I think it's free for a period of time. And then it goes up to like £10 an hour, £10 a month. And so it's like super affordable, super cheap. And this will literally automate all of your outreach on LinkedIn. So you just want to have a welcome message, introducing yourself, who you are, and a quick connect message. You'll go out, LinkedIn will go and find these people depending on the URL that you put in. Again, this is like a whole nother topic, but it's super simple. I just don't have time to go over it in detail here, but you simply just go into it, you set it up, they'll show you exactly how to use the platform, and your automation on LinkedIn is done. So it's automatically connecting with 20, 30, 90 people a day of potential customers, potential prospects. And then once they've connected with you, if they're interested in any way, they're going to message you back. And when they do message you back, you could A, either message them back yourself, or B, get your virtual assistant to do it. So with LinkedIn, it's such a powerful platform if you know how to use it correctly. And if you have all your platforms structured in a way that I've described at the beginning, with that same structure, and it goes more in depth in the blueprint, then you'll honestly dominate and you'll be so surprised. It would be your competitive advantage to anyone else, because no one else is doing it. Everyone else is very confused as to how to use social media. And if you're using it correctly and you're positioning yourself correctly, it becomes so easy. And so moving on. So here's the fast track way of getting leads. So if you wanted to generate leads quickly, a lot more quickly than organic, this is when you go into the paid methods. Now, this is more expensive, but your return on investment is huge. And this is something you could do yourself. Facebook ads. The reason I chose Facebook and not LinkedIn and not anything else is purely based on the fact that Facebook's targeting capabilities are insane. So you could target people down to a T, and Facebook is so smart at gathering data, collecting all that data. Facebook actually knows about 300 different data points on each person. It knows what they're doing, what they're looking at, and what their interests are. And so you could target a group of people in your area that are interested in a specific thing and keep targeting them. And then what Facebook will do is it will find people that are interested in your offer, and it will basically duplicate and find more people around that are just as interested as that person that was looking at a very similar thing as that previous person that was interested in what you had to do. And it does it all automatically. So this might seem a bit overwhelming, but Facebook does this automatically. So you don't actually need to do anything extra to try and find these people and these targeted prospects. It will do it automatically. So you can build a solid brand on Facebook. So if you're in real estate, your brand's everything. Your brand is what separates you from your competitors. Getting people to know, like, and trust you is key. And you could use Facebook and Instagram to be your stage, right? By sharing a mixture of value-based content, you could project yourself as an authority in your space and the type of person that closes deals. You could also, like I just touched on, you could generate a huge amount of qualified leads. So these platforms give you all the tools and data to just fill up your pipeline with hot qualified buyers on a daily basis. One thing though that you will need to understand with Facebook, and I explained this to Claire, but it's kind of like popcorn. With Facebook, initially, this is what people do. The majority of people will invest like £200 into Facebook advertisement, not see any results and shut it off with, okay, Facebook ads don't work for me. That is literally what everyone does. Facebook, think of it as popcorn. It takes a while for Facebook to gather that data that you want and to start generating your results. But the minute it gets those results, Facebook gets so smart that it just explodes. It fills up your pipeline like with constant leads to the point where you actually have to pause the campaign because you're getting too many people that come in. And so that's pretty much it when it comes to advertising using paid ads. Obviously using organic traffic, there is a lot more in my blueprint that I'll go over and cover if any of you are interested. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for now. If you all of these things have like I can go into detail about, like, I could go 2 hours into detail on each topic, but I'm trying to cram it all as one to give you guys as much value as possible. So yeah, that's it for now. Does anyone have any questions?
Mate, that was brilliant.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm eating my dinner, sorry. Does
probably,
anyone have any questions?
I think I need a funnel built, to be fair. The problem I've got, and I'll be honest, it happens in here a bit with me. I've got my own Facebook page and I've got the business's Facebook page. But the problem is I always post off my own Facebook because I'm the one that's in the groups. I'm the face. It's always Bryn Walker. It's not Indigo Trustees. Yeah. So, you know, I've got nearly 2,000 friends and whatever on Facebook that are all to do with property and pensions. And Indigo's got maybe 50, which is the company side. So I don't, because I'm rubbish at social media, I don't get how to switch the interest or the posting from Bryn to Indigo, or even if I should, I don't know whether I should just build Bryn as the brand.
Okay, so I personally think that you should do it as your personal profile. People normally tend to trust people rather than businesses. So if you're approaching them as a person, they'll tend to trust you more than trusting a brand or a business or a logo behind the brand. Okay, which is what we found. Yeah, it's just like, it's what we've noticed in our split testing. We have had very similar questions to that as well. And what we've noticed is when they switch to just using their personal account, it's a lot more personal, and they feel like they could trust you rather than talking to a business. They feel like they're talking to an assistant, and they feel like they're going to have to go through some.
Okay, in which case I don't know how to build a funnel in my personal ad.
Great question.
So I need to talk with you because I understand
yeah.
funnels in on the business side of it, and we have one, but it doesn't work very well because it's not out there on Facebook in all these groups. So I am, but I don't have the funnel. So I need to switch it somehow, and there we go. I also tried Facebook ads, haven't found them to work for me in any way, shape, or form. But the last time I tried one and paid for it, it posted all of my ads to America, and we're not even allowed to do business in America. So I know I've clicked something wrong, but then you can't get hold of them to say it's wrong, and they keep offering me advice, and I keep clicking on it and they say nobody's available for 6 months to talk to you about this. And I'm like, well, you must be really busy. But
yeah, Facebook.
I'm willing to pay money for this kind of stuff. Help. And they just ignore you.
Facebook's support is horrendous, by the way. So if you ever got a question and it's like a Facebook technical question, I would never go to the last place I would go to Facebook. It takes we've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands on Facebook ads. I have one problem. If I have one technical issue I want resolved, they take months. And trying to get this resolved to my clients' accounts, it is such a long process. But we have managed to, because we've got connections now with people that are back end of Facebook, we can get it resolved a lot more quickly. And these are the people that sort of fill us in on the algorithm changes of Facebook, because Facebook is always updating and changing their algorithm. And if you're not adjusted to that and adapted to that, you could be like left behind. And so it's very important that you follow the algorithm changes, and that's something I'm willing to share to you.
No, great. I want to pay somebody to do that because it's not.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for my questions. There'll be people will have loads of others. Are you in a breakout room?
No, I actually have a call in about 15 minutes. So which is why I would love to stay here for ages and talk to you guys, but I'm more than happy to reschedule, rebook an appointment with a breakout room and go through things in more detail and answer any of you guys' questions. I'm happy to do that. And like I said, I'm willing to help out as much as I can to an extent. I've also to answer your previous question about the funnel. We actually have in my software, we actually have a platform where you could build out funnels, and we've got pre-made templates. So you could literally create a funnel in seconds and use that funnel. It's a very simple drag and drop funnel as well. So if you wanted to edit any of the writing, any of the images, it's very easy to do. And if you have any questions with that, we're more than happy to go over that.
Have you got a Facebook page?
I do indeed, yeah.
It's a stupid question, but
So I would at the moment, guys, I would honestly focus on Instagram as well. The reason I say that, I'll link down below my Facebook page and my Instagram page and LinkedIn and everything like that. But for you guys, I'll focus on Instagram. And the reason why is because the way the algorithm has just shifted, Instagram is now heavily promoting stories and reels. So if you're posting on reels,
that everybody seems to be talking about these reel things. Is that on
Instagram?
Yeah.
So it's brand new for Instagram. So what they've done is they've doubled down on reels. And if you're posting on reels all the time, what Instagram goes through waves. They're split testing waves. And if you're posting and it gets engagement straight, it's within the first 5 minutes. If your post gets engagement, so if you want to get some of your friends to quickly comment on your post, what it will do is it will position you on that first split test wave. And once it goes through that, it goes to the second wave, and more people will start engaging, and it will start finding more people for you that are related to you and in your niche, that are interested in what you have to offer and sell. So it's super powerful at the moment if you're posting every day on the reels, especially with Instagram. That's why I'm saying if you
is it like a story then? Is that what a reel is?
Do you know TikTok? So TikTok is they're small videos. That's all right. They're small videos, but they are, because they're so small, they're very dopamine. They're very dopamine sensitive. So they'll attract people's attention for a short period of time, which is what Instagram has now copied from TikTok. They're videos, but the video could literally be a picture of a property, a video around the property, and then with a little caption on it. And that video will keep replaying, and you just want to get a bunch of people to go ahead and comment and engage. And the best way, by the way, to get people to engage with you on your social media and your platforms is to have a promotion. And this is like so powerful. So if you have like right underneath your profile, after you've posted a picture, be like, hey, we have a special promotion going on. You can get to stay at my accommodation completely for free for one lucky person, whoever comments and likes this picture and DMs me. The first 5 people to do that will have a chance of getting that free promotion. And what people will do, loads of people start commenting and engaging on your post because they want that free accommodation. And what that will do is put Instagram through the second split test wave, which will keep promoting your stuff, which will get you way ahead of like the competition. So that's like, these are like little hidden hacks that we know just because we have like communication with Facebook and Instagram, like direct through a friend of a friend, that fills us in basically. So
just one more thing, like I get different opinions on this. Do you think as your profile picture it should be a picture of you, or do you think it should be a picture of other things?
It should be of you.
Always of you.
Always of you. Like, it's, again, we've tested this so many times. There was actually a study done of this, and people for some reason do not trust brands. Like, they don't, unless it's a very well-known brand, they just don't trust it. It's nice to have that, like, once you have yourself as the face of the brand, they'll message you and they'll feel warmth, like they have that sensation of talking to an actual human. But when it's a brand, they're like, people, like, especially like nowadays, people are very resilient to messaging brands because in their head, before they even message, they're assuming that it's going to be such a long process and that they're going to be talking to bots, and it's just, it never works. But when you're the face and you just have right underneath director or founder of your business, and then if they wanted to, they can click on your business and see your business, right? So
okay, I get it. So like on your personal profile, if you advertise your training, for example, rather than on your business page, just people think straight, they'll message you because they think it's easier than doing it on the business page. Now that explains a lot about something that's happening in our business, funnily enough. So right, okay.
Yeah, it's a very psychological thing, but it's we basically, my coach Jason Capital, he done a study of human influence, and that's where we've like found all these like little golden nuggets. They're working really well for our clients at the moment. So
I'll definitely be in touch. I'll definitely be in touch.
You've got to remember as well, Kirsty, that on if you're posting stuff on a company business page, pages get a lot less engagement and reach than profiles.
Yeah.
So that's why business pages are okay if you want to start running ads, because obviously you've got to have a business page to run an ad. But if you're just trying to get kind of organic reach out there, you're better off doing it off a profile.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So you have to have both. But I would just make the profile picture your picture, right? And then you can have your logo underneath. But it's just a psychological thing. It's just something that we've seen to work. When you're launching ads, something like completely different. When you're launching ads, it doesn't matter. You could have a separate business page altogether just to launch ads, and it could just be your brand, because no one from an ad is going to necessarily click on that profile, right? The ad is the ad. That's what they see and that's what they get. And when you launch ads, you have to use pattern interrupts. So you can't, again, when you're scrolling on Facebook and you see an ad, people never typically tend to stop. They'll be like, it's an ad. We've seen it. Like, people will see about 300-400 ads a day, right? So they're scrolling and they're very immune to it. So if you have the ad structured in a way that looks like your social media, that will interrupt their pattern, something that's different to the norm. And it could literally be something so silly. Like, you could literally hold the cup in front of the camera and then like move that cup and you have your property. Like, it could be something so simple, but that small thing will interrupt their pattern and have them like paying more attention to your ad.
Oh my God, that explains so much as well, because somebody I know dances at every beginning of every month. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll see that a lot. So it's just again, it's all psychology stuff, but pattern really interrupts, they work flawlessly. Yeah. So I actually launched an ad before of like someone just holding a cupcake and just staring at the cupcake for ages. And that ad was like one of our winning ads. And then after the cupcake, he was literally like, it was nothing special. It was like the most random thing, but he was looking at the cupcake and just explaining what he does. Like, and everyone was trying to think, like, what is this cupcake? Like, is he going to do anything with the cupcake? And like, he just goes through the whole thing, just explaining who he is and what he does and why you should choose him. And he's just staring at a cupcake. He's just talking to a cupcake. But people like watched it all the way through, and so many people ended up buying from that ad because it was just ridiculous. Like, it was out of the norm, and people were just very, like, they paid so much attention to it. So that's very important.
Thank you. That's really useful.
It's all right. So I actually have to go now because